Hi everyone, it's Giselle with a message for today, and I wanted to talk about how clarity brings you and your person into harmony. And the way that this works is that our thoughts are interlinked. This is what I talked about a few videos back, where they can pick up on your thoughts energetically. They may not know 100% word for word what you're thinking, but our thoughts transmute an energy. And when we are connected at the soul with somebody, they can pick up the sort of the gist and the meaning behind what you're thinking. And if your thoughts are constantly up and down and actually not very clear, then they will pick up very warped and confusing feelings. And if you want them to be clear towards you in their thinking and in their actions, then you must start being clear yourself and not constantly sending out these mixed messages of, sometimes people think, oh, I'm so happy that this person's in my life. And then other times they're thinking, oh, but they don't do what I want, and they're not contacting me as often as I would like. And so it really brings very mixed messages and very confusing information. So then your person picks that up and doesn't know how to translate it, and can often just not take any action at all because they're just like, well, what do you want from me? I guess, what can I liken this to? It's like if you wanted to keep a pot of water warm or hot, but you keep adding cold water to it, cold water being your doubts and fears. So it's always going to be lukewarm. It's never going to boil if you're always going to add the negative thoughts. So you have to stay focused and you have to keep working on your own clarity. And I often advise clients as well to find what it is they're really wanting, because it's no good going into this not even knowing or not even being sure. It's like that example that I give when I was really young. I said I would like a relationship. I didn't define the relationship, I just said a relationship. It's not a good relationship, not a bad relationship, not an equal relationship, not a harmonious or loving or happy. No, just a relationship. What can the universe interpret that as? Because you're not being very clear. Well, anyone will suffice as long as they'll be in a relationship with you. Of course, that experience turned out to be horrendous, and I deeply regret ever just requesting for a relationship because, yeah, that wasn't good. So it's good to now define, be clear about what it is you're wanting. Do you want to be happy? Of course you do. But then state that I'm in a happy, balanced, loving, committed relationship with the love of my life. And no longer affirming the confusion and the lack of evidence. Because it's easy to fall into the trap of, oh, I'm not seeing any evidence, so therefore it must be so. That's not what co creating your life means. That's not what manifesting is. That's just sitting there and accepting what is as what shall be. But that's not going to help move things forward. If you really want to transform, you have to stop affirming what is if that's not part of what you want your reality to look like. If you no longer want them to be withdrawn, stop saying that they're cold towards you. And affirm the opposite, even if it looks like there is no evidence. Eventually, what you've created from within has to show itself on the outside, on the physical plane. But you have to start being clear and consistent with that clarity, to the point where you no longer fall into the old patterns that you used to create. And some of the things you may have experienced weren't intentionally created by yourself, but more as a byproduct of your environment. But the sooner you can accept that, the sooner you can move things forwards. And the better it's going to be for you. So allow yourself to be honest and ask yourself, am I happy with how things are now? If not, what do I need to change? What would I like to see differently? And some people like to write things down. I have quite a few clients who've started to really change and manifest their reality by writing things down before bed, because what you do before you go to sleep is going to stay in your mind and process as you are sleeping. So write down the things that you want to see and affirm them to yourself. And remember, the old and negative ways of thinking may still come through, but if they do, make sure that you nip that in the bud as soon as it comes up and close the door on that negative way of thinking. Say, you're no longer welcome here, and open the door to something you are wanting to see. And sometimes you may have to take baby steps. If you think that your brain can't handle accepting something so vastly different from what you've known before, make smaller alterations, but keep the big picture in mind. And know that eventually the big picture will form, all these little affirmations towards the big picture are like puzzle pieces. And you are building towards creating that bigger picture of what you're actually wanting to see in your life. And don't feel discouraged if you fall into old patterns again. Just understand, okay, it was a little slip up, but I see where I'm going wrong, and start again. It takes time to form a new habit, but once formed, you will not likely fall back. You won't want to fall back into the old patterns, and you will stay on the path to creating a new vision for your life, for you and your person, and clarity, and no longer affirming the negativity that once was. I hope this has helped you, and if you would like to connect to me, all my details are in the description. I have a very limited offer available on my community page or the previous video that I've posted, and you are welcome to purchase those if you so wish. Thank you so much for watching. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.